Next, here's a really cool article from Moz. And basically, it says that 12% of AI mode citations match the URLs in the organic SERPs. So what that means is, what this is saying is just because you have a good SEO presence, if you're a brand or a company or a website, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a great presence in AI mode citations or generative engine optimization. What it's saying is in this study that essentially only 12% had a significant overlap matching in URLs. So that means, 90% or so, they don't align. And what that means is if you're a company or a brand or an in-house marketer, that means you have to have a really good SEO presence as a foundational element, have a really good content marketing and content strategy that supports that. And then you have to have a really good generative engine optimization strategy, good on-site GEO for your website, and content and citations that support that side of things. So it's literally, it's like you have like this, the content marketing should support both, but then you have the two branches now. You have SEO and generative engine optimization, but you have to do both. Just because you're doing well in SEO means that if you do nothing related to GEO, the chances are you're not going to do well in AI search unless you actually are working at it and optimize properly and build citations. So I thought it was fascinating. And it's great because this validates a lot of what we've been saying at Brick Marketing in our webinars, in our content, in our writing, in our newsletter, in these forums of like Brick Marketing Live, and in our trainings, and to potential clients and to existing clients. We've been saying this for a while, and it's nice to see other third-party industry experts come out and validate a lot of this information. So, Catherine, what are your thoughts on this?
I feel like this is proof that the fundamental way that AI versus the organic SERPs, the way they gather information is different. And it is something that we need to keep in mind, because just because you have quote unquote optimized for SEO does not automatically guarantee that you're going to get returned in AI mode or in AI answers or something like that, and vice versa. So what does this mean? It means that, like you said, AI is a whole branch of your marketing now. It's a completely different thing, but we do not here at Brick Marketing take the approach of considering each branch a separate thing.
No.
They are the total entity of your digital marketing strategy. Now we just have to add AI into it and understand its implications in the marketing funnel, because this is data proof that the way they gather information is separately, which means you have to just sort of make a few tweaks and adjustments on top of what you're already doing in order to get success in that new avenue.
Yeah. John, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying this, that AI search is heavily related to your like regular SEO, but right now there's an opportunity for smaller businesses to get shown because it's not completely different system, but it's a largely different system that takes citations and a different approach to showing things. And putting the chat is asking how our team is adapting. We're doing that already for ourselves and we're seeing results.
Oh yeah.
Right? So what we do is we build credibility, and we're able to do that. And as a smaller to mid-size B2B place, we are able to show up in ChatGPT, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that I find just fascinating is there's a direct parallel to what's happening now with AI search and generative engine optimization to the early days of SEO. Okay, and and even early days of paid search, and even the early days of social media. Seriously, the parallel is this: if you're a small or mid-sized company, brand, and when I say mid-size, I mean you're not enterprise, you're not a large public company, right? You don't have a 50-person marketing department, right? So that's what we mean by mid-size. Because mid-size has a different definition. The point is, if you're a small, mid-sized entity or brand or company, AI search or generative engine optimization is a once in a, honestly, like, if this hasn't happened that I can remember for at least 25 years, where it allows small and mid-sized companies to be able to truly compete with larger brands. That's what made SEO awesome when it first the discipline of SEO started. That's what made PPC great when it first started. That's what made social media great when it first started. That's what made content marketing great when it first started. It all, you didn't need to have, you know, 7-8 figure budgets in marketing a year in order to get a good return and to have a presence in your market and being able to compete. Generative engine optimization is that opportunity now. Will it change? Guaranteed to change. Just looking at the patterns of these other digital marketing channels over the last 25 plus years, the early adopters get in, they cement their foundation, and they stay long term. They still have to work at it, but you're more likely to stay because you've been an early adopter and you have that foundation from the beginning. Folks that come in, 3-4 years after the fact, that's not to say you can't get in, but the problem is, like right now, AI search generative engine optimization is approximately, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's, maybe 2%, if that, of the overall search market if you compare it to Google, right? And you're like, oh, 2%, we're going to do all this work for 2%. No, you do this work for 2% now, get really good business from it now. And then a year from now, that 2% becomes 5%. 2-3 years from now, that 5% becomes 15 or 20%. And you're cemented in because you have built a really good foundation and you've evolved your GEO as it's changing. Now you're literally in a place where, you've built a really, you have a really great return on this stuff long term. So anyway, so that's the point on it. So moving on. Again, we can keep talking about this, but we want to get to some other really awesome articles that we want to talk about today.